The recording's still going, so anyway. Whatever, technical difficulties. So I'll start from the beginning because there's a lot of new people in here anyway. All right, everybody. I just want you to mute your phones really quickly so that none of the outside interference gets on the recordings, that everybody else can kind of hear everything. Peace and blessings. Please mute your phone. And then I'll get started with everything again. I'm going to take it from the top because I don't know if you guys were able to hear me before. So, hi, I'm Ashante Tay Queen Fernandez, holistic life coach, intuit, herbalist, gemstone consultant, and owner of Gemini Creations. Welcome to Gemini Creations' monthly conference call. This call will be recorded for your listening convenience, and this month's topic will be crystals inside us, how gemstone therapy works. So our hashtag for this presentation will be hashtag crystals inside us. If you hear a quote you'd like to tweet, Facebook, or Instagram, just use this hashtag to connect with others around the world listening into this broadcast. I want to start with a little medical disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, and all information comprised within this presentation are for educational purposes only and are not meant to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease in any way. So just wanted to get all of that out the way, and now that we've got all that out the way, hopefully most people are in and we're all settled in. And thank you all so much for supporting and calling in and taking this time out of your busy schedule to learn more about crystals and how they work. And I hope that you enjoy this presentation that we're about to put together. You might want to get out a pad and some paper just so that you can take some notes. But, of course, the notes will be available after the call if you're unable to get to that. But you may want to take your own personal notes. You never know. Okay? So with all that said, I'm going to get started. And our first topic is, what are crystals? So I want to explain a little bit about what crystals are in order for you to understand the scientific complexities of how they work. It's really, really important that we kind of get to understand that crystals and other holistic forms of healing are based on the actual science. It's not just old wives' tales. Even though it's a very ancient science, it still nonetheless can be proved by modern science. So it's really important that we understand that, okay? So crystals are basically crystalline matter. And crystalline matter is composed of molecules that are organized and arranged in a consistent pattern. Crystalline molecules are naturally coordinated, synchronized, and balanced with one another. Therefore, any form of matter that has organized, coordinated, and symmetrically arranged molecules is crystalline. So that's from page 174 from Rocks of Ages, Annual Edition by Ross Benton. That's an amazing book that's going to not only enlighten you about crystals, but the holistic outlines of how the galaxy works and how time forms and all these amazing things. But it's a really, really amazing book. So if you can get your hands on it, I believe it's sold at rossben.com, and you guys can get your copies of it there. And definitely support. That's an amazing book. So with that being said, crystals are organized forms of various elemental minerals, specifically organized into geometric patterns. What that means is that basically, if anybody's familiar with the periodic chart of elements, it's using those atomic particles to form different molecules, and these molecules are symmetrically shaped, meaning that they have a very, very specific structure. So these geometric patterns hold specific resonance that correlate to universal archetypal energies and are reflected in space, planets, stars, and the human body. That's really important because what we need to understand is that the basic materials and the building blocks that are reflected in the things all around us that we see in nature, that we see in outer space, that we see making up the earth itself, all these things are also comprised inside of the human body. So it's kind of an as above, so below thing, the law of correspondence applying to that. So all organic matter in nature is crystalline. So by the law of correspondence, all organic matter can then in turn be affected by external crystalline substances, meaning that because your body has a very specific organized geometric makeup, then it can also be affected by the geometric makeup of crystals. And through that law of vibration, you guys are exchanging and sharing your vibration not only with the crystals, but the crystals with you. So it's kind of a, it's a relationship that's formed with the crystals, and you can kind of look at them almost as adamant or living things in that particular way because they do exert some type of influence over your physical realities. And that's what gemstone therapy is all about. So let's move into our next aspect, which is what org energy is and how it applies to gemstone therapy. Well, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the term org energy, but it's a very metaphysical term that's basically used to describe the essence energy that flows throughout the universe. It's basically life force, the maternal prototype for all life forms in the universe. It is often referred to as chi, prana, spirit, etc. And basically all organic forms function off of this source energy. And it's the fabric of the matrix that all life is a part of. It is the energetic field to which all things belong and permeates throughout all things in this universe. So basically, org energy is just source energy. It's that energy that's flowing through your chakras right now. It's the energy that's helping you to breathe. It's the energy that's making your brain function, your heart pump, that unseen life force energy that's moving through your body to help it work, that moves through plants to help them grow, that we see that turns the planets and all these different actions of movement that we see in the universe. This is all originating from org energy. And the org is the root in the word organic, organized, organites, and organ, as in the organs inside of your body. And this is not a coincidence because that org energy is basically the original energy that permeates throughout all things. So you are considered an organic life form, which is comprised of original organized matter, okay? So the organs in your body secrete and create physical, emotional, and vibratory resonance necessary to sustain your life force. And when any organ in your body becomes imbalanced, it then in turn affects the entire system. So if any one thing in your body gets off track for whatever reason due to stress, improper eating, the environmental pollution, all these different factors can throw off different organs in your body and then can cause disease. And those are some of the basic things that we begin to experience as we quote-unquote age. Some of us experience them from younger ages due to issues dealing with like medications or different things of that nature. And I mean, it becomes a very common thing that's experienced in the society because we're so industrial. And, of course, that's the pollution of the environment. And again, what did I say? By the law of correspondence, be it that the things in nature are corresponding to the things inside of our bodies. If we're hurting or harming nature, we're hurting or harming ourselves, right? So crystals resonate with the core archetypal energies of the universe. These energies can be found in astrology, they can be found in planets, they can be found in herbs and other various organic materials. Through that resonance, they vibrate in likeness or synchronize with the original vibration of that source and realign energies through the subtle energy field that is referred to as your aura. So your aura is in likeness affected by crystals. And basically that's the basis of how gemstone therapy is also working. It's working from that energetic layer on down into the physical body. So without org energy, there are no plants, no planets, no stars, no you, no me, no crystals, and nothing that exists in the material world. So that org energy is really, really important. It's basically the template. It's like the form or the mold. And you're pouring that energy through, you're pouring life energy through that form and that mold, and it's becoming these physical things. So that org energy, without that particular intelligence none of the physical things that we see around us would be possible. So we need to honor and have some type of reverence for that particular type of energy and do what we can to cultivate it. And that's exactly what gemstone therapy does. It cultivates that organic energy. So how crystals affect the organ systems of the body. Now, this sounds slightly kind of medical and scientific, but I want you guys to bear with me if you can. Again, all the notes and information on this will be available after the presentation, as well as you guys will be able to ask questions after the presentation is finished. So if you guys have any questions, you can write those down as well and then ask them after the latter portion of the presentation. So how crystals affect the organ systems of the body? So this is a really, really good question. As I mentioned earlier, crystals directly impact various organs and organ systems in the body. Each crystal has a specific molecular crystalline pattern as well as primary elements comprised within their molecular chain. So both the vibration and the atomic elements in sync with the molecular shape create a unique effect on the cellular structure of the human body. All that means is that the crystal is affecting the way your body works. Each system of the body, of which there are 11, a master number, by the way, coincidence? I think not. Has a specific purpose in the body and is ran by one or more major organs in connection with their different glands that carry out the specific metabolic functions, and these metabolic functions are ran by the very same elements found in nature and in your crystals. And these elements are often taken into the body through the process of digestion and respiration, but can also be affected by subtle energies as well. So, basically what I'm saying here is that all of the different organ systems in your body run off of that elemental energy that's found in crystals. So when you start to break these crystals down into their elemental dividends and their components, then you can start to see that all the minerals and compounds that we find in the crystals also exist inside of our bodies. And again, due to the law of correspondence, these things can affect each other. So that's all that gemstone therapy is ultimately saying, is that we're using this external form to influence the internal reality. So ways that gemstones can be used to heal specific issues. So I'm not sure if everybody here is familiar with gemstone elixirs or gemstone water, but it's a very, very, very amazing way to use and utilize the healing power of crystals. Specific crystals are used via a direct or indirect method to create infusions of that mineral resonance into a liquid solution in conjunction with a catalyst energy such as a full moon or sunlight to activate the subtle properties contained in these stones and amplify their ability to imprint their vibration into the liquid. I have a link that you guys can see in the notes portion, which I'm going to post on the blog, as well as I'm going to post these notes into the Facebook group. And I'm going to send out an email to everybody who signed up via the email list with the notes in them, so everybody can do that. Peace and blessings. Thank you so much for joining us. Whoever just came in, please mute your phone so that everybody can hear as we're recording this for everybody's listening pleasure afterwards. So the notes will be sent out. And there is a specific blog post that teaches you guys how to make these gemstone elixirs for yourself. Honestly, at the end of the day, gemstone elixirs or water are basically like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with herbal infusions or herbal decoctions or herbal teas, but it's basically that in gemstone form. So what we're doing is we're activating these properties. Like with herbs, you would do it with fire, so you'd cook it. With the gemstones, we're using the sunlight or the moonlight to kind of activate those similar properties in the crystals, and then you can take some of the concoctions you can take internally. Some of them you want to be a little bit more cautious with. And, of course, all that information is in that blog post that I have, in the link, so make sure you guys check that out afterwards. The gemstone placement. Now, see, gemstone placement is really, really important. Where you put your gemstones, as we discussed in our last monthly conference call last month, which was decorating with gemstones, the gemstone placement can make a really, 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 really deep impact on the actual energy and the effectiveness of using that gemstone in a healing practice. So if you notice during my Gem of the Day post, sometimes I'll include where to place your crystal for optimum healing benefits. Basically, like for example, I don't know if anybody saw the bloodstone post I just posted, but for bloodstone, the suggested positioning is over the thymus gland or in the upper middle part of your chest. By placing or holding that stone in that position, you can receive the maximum benefits of its health qualities. So every stone, some stones will say hold it over your left wrist. Some stones you say just wear it over your navel, or place over your navel, or place over your third eye, which is really important. Because another part of placement or gemstone placement is you can also hold the gems over their corresponding chakras. So as long as you know where your chakra points are, you can then align the crystals and place them over your chakras. So paying attention to where you should place your gemstones is really, really important, especially as it pertains to the body. So sleeping with your stones. Now, for calm and soothing stones like moonstone, chrysocolla, and rose quartz, it's awesome to sleep with these crystals because basically while you're sleeping, you're the least resistant to allowing the energies of the gems to actually align the different energies inside of your body, and it just makes it more effective. So basically, you're less resistant to the whole healing process while you're sleeping because your conscious mind is off and you're just at ease and you're most relaxed. So sleeping with your stones is also another way to really get this type of energy to flow and become more real for you. Meditation with your gemstones is also a great, great way to implement and utilize the healing properties of gemstones. Simply holding your gems while meditating with them can create amazing benefits while you intend to heal a specific issue. So basically what you do is you hold that intention in your mind while you're meditating to heal whatever issue you're dealing with while holding the gemstone, and you'll begin to see more results. And again, gemstone and crystal therapy is often supposed to be used with in tandem with other holistic, alternative, or conventional forms of healing. So, again, don't hesitate to use your crystals with herbs. Don't hesitate to use your crystals with meditation, with acupuncture, with massage therapy, with even if you're recovering from different types of surgeries or whatever the case may be, or if you're choosing the more traditional form of healing, you can still utilize your crystals. Crystals are amazing. Unlike herbs, they don't conflict with any other type of medications. So it's really great to kind of bring them in and help them help to heal the body in a very, very subtle way. So meditating with them is one other way. And last but not least, bathing with your gems is another amazing way to capitalize on their properties. If the gem is tumbled or is non-toxic, because some of the stones are made out of mercury and the other things you don't want in your bath water, so you want to make sure that the gemstone that you're using in the bath is non-toxic, then it can be placed in the water directly, and it can help to amplify its soothing and healing properties. If it's considered toxic or is raw, then you can place it alongside of the bath for similar benefits. So if you have a toxic stone, don't let that scare you, okay? You'd have to basically eat the stone for it to cause any harm to your body. So don't let that word or that term toxic stones kind of scare you. But what you don't want is constant contact with your skin and any other thing. So you just want to make sure that the stones that you're using are safe to use in water. And, of course, I have a toxicity list of stones that could be potentially toxic or hazardous if used in that particular way on the blog site as well. So you guys can look on the notes, or you guys can look on the blog and kind of just search for toxic stone list, and you'll be able to find that there as well. Peace and blessings to everybody coming in. Again, please don't hesitate to mute your phone so that it just doesn't interfere with any of the presentation that we're recording right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is Crystals Inside Us, how gemstone therapy works, and we're just moving through the presentation portion. There will be a question and answer portion, as well as this is, again, being recorded, so if you missed any part of this, you guys can go back and listen to this later. We'll probably have it up on our Facebook page as well, so that you guys can listen in. So, now that I've given you all of this information, I know, you're like, this girl can talk, huh? Yeah, I have a lot of energy and a lot of information, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So now that we've moved through how to use your stones in practical ways, I want to give you guys some insight into how these stones correlate with the different organ systems inside of the body. So remember earlier I mentioned there are 11 organ systems. So I'm going to give you the system, and then I'm going to allow you to understand how to use that system with the crystals. All right. So there's the peace and blessings. Thank you so much for calling, and please mute your phone. There's the integumentary system. That's the only one I can't pronounce. I can pronounce all the rest of them, I promise. There's that system. It's basically the hair, the skin, the nails, the sense receptors, the sweat glands, and the oil glands. And the crystals that correlate to that particular organ system are azurite, brown jasper, green jasper as well. That's INTEGUMENTARY system. That is the only one I have trouble pronouncing. The next ones will be a little bit more familiar for everyone. Skeletal system are the bones and the joints. And great stones for that are amazonite, chrysocolla, calcite, cuprite, iron pyrite, and ceradonics. I love ceradonics, so beautiful. The muscular system comprises all of the muscles in the body and the muscle tissues. You have magnetite, danburite, and cuprite, again, also for the muscular system. Nervous system, which is the brain, the spinal cord, and all the little nerves that run through your whole body. For that particular system, we have the crystals of lapis lazuli, green jade, amber, green tourmaline, dendritic agate, and those are the crystals for the nervous system. The endocrine system, which comprises the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, the thyroid gland, the parathyroid, adrenals, and basically all the hormone-secreting glands in your whole entire body. This includes the reproductive organs and the pancreas and adrenals and all of that good stuff. And for the endocrine system, you have the crystals of amethyst, fire agate, rhodonite, aquamarine, lapis lazuli, and citrine. For the cardiovascular system, that includes the heart and the blood vessels and the veins and all those capillaries and all that amazing stuff. The bloodstone, amethyst, chalcedony, cuprite, hematite, and red jasper are amazing stones for the cardiovascular system. The lymphatic system are the lymph nodes, the lymph vessels, the thymus, the spleen, and the tonsils. I don't have tonsils anymore. Some of us don't have tonsils. But that's okay. You can still utilize lymphatic healing. And that's the aquamarine, the amber, the bloodstone, the red obsidian as well. And those will help with any lymphatic issues that are going on in your body. Your respiratory system, that's of course your nose, your larynx, your trachea, your bronchi, as well as your lungs. And that is amber, turquoise, peridot, and chrysocolla. I love chrysocolla. That's one of my favorite stones. Your digestive system, of course, that's all of your digestive tract, your stomach, your large intestines, all the way from the rooter to the tutor, basically, we're going down here. And that includes also your teeth, which is interesting because a lot of people don't think of your teeth. Your teeth, your tongue, your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas, and your appendix are also included in your digestive system. So as well as the obvious organs, we have some accessory organs. And the crystals for that particular system are green fluorite, fire agate, beryl, peridot, celestite, citrine, chrysocolla, aquamarine, and tiger's eye. And that kind of hits all of the different organs in that system as well. And the urinary system, which is the kidneys, the urinary bladder, the urethra, and all of that good stuff, that's going to help, the crystals that help that system are going to be jasper, topaz, amber, and orange calcite. And last but not least, we have the reproductive system. And the reproductive system, of course, we are all familiar with all those places that's inside of us, so I don't have to go too much over that part. But, that includes all of your organs, all of your reproductive organs. If you're a woman, all the stuff that's inside you. If you're a brother, all the stuff that's outside you, and some other things inside you. So, for that particular system, you have, for females, and for males, they're a little bit different, so we have some different stones and some similar stones. But for the females, we have the carnelian, the moonstone, the chrysoprase, the amber, the topaz, the unakite, the aquamarine as well. And for the brothers, we have the carnelian as well, the jadeite, the chrysoprase, the topaz, and the veracite. And all of those stones will help with the reproductive organs. So I hope that that's extremely insightful. I have a whole chart in the notes, which again is going to be available right after the call. And you guys can check that out at your later convenience if you so choose. All right. So finally, I'm going to get into crystals inside of your body. And I would like to call this part the alchemy of crystals, because I could literally and very well may possibly do a whole presentation on that particular subject in and of itself, because it's so deep, it's so fascinating, and it's so necessary to understand how the body works in correlation to gemstone therapy and how the gemstones are literally and scientifically affecting the body. So gems and metals that are present inside of a healthy, functioning body. Magnetite is actually found in the brain. This is important. It's found inside of the brain and is responsible for assisting in neuroactivity. It's funny because magnetite is extremely magnetized. So if we find that inside of our brain, it's no wonder that our thoughts literally attract to us what we are thinking. So the law of attraction not only becomes a concept or a theory, it now becomes a scientific reality. Copper, one of the base elements found in small quantities throughout the body. It's also essential in many metabolic functions and is compatible with melanin. And we all know about the melanocytes inside of the body and how melanin is essential to the functioning of a healthy body. Silver, which is also found in element form and assists in creating energy for the body. Gold, which is an elemental metal, again, similar to copper and silver, and it provides a positive electric charge throughout the entire body. I love using copper, and that's why you'll see at Gemini Creations, we really emphasize the use of copper metals. We're going to start using gold and silver as well, but we've mainly worked with copper for a long time, not just because it is easily and readily available, although it is, it's also because it's one of the most biologically compatible metals that you can use in assisting in gemstone therapy or the healing of the body. So that's extremely important. So I want you guys to pay attention to that. When we're specifically saying we're using copper elements and we're not using other metals, it's because we want that healing and conductive energy of the copper components to also be implemented into the pieces that we're creating. So another particular gem or substance that's found inside the body is sulfur, which is found in its elemental form and is key in creating the amino acid cysteine and regulates the body's temperature and stimulates fertility. So sulfur is a really, really amazing component that's found inside the body. There are many more elements that are found inside of the body, but those are some of the ones that are also crystals. So I want you guys to literally understand, when I said crystals inside us, I meant crystals inside of you. There are crystals and precious metals and all of these elemental components are literally inside of your body as we're speaking. You have these things inside of you. So that's why gemstone therapy is so powerful, because it literally is already in you. So you're using these external crystalline forms to activate the internal crystalline forms. Okay? So how crystals affect and heal the body functions. So I'm going to give you guys some elemental components, like some base elements like potassium, sulfur, iron, all these different things. And then I'm going to give you the corresponding crystals that correlate with those elements. And I'm also going to tell you what they're good for and why we're going to use these types of base crystals. So first we're going to start with the potassium-based crystals, and these ones are good for digestion. And that's the apophyllite and the lepidolite crystals, which are powerful gems on their own. Honestly, two of my favorite crystals. I love using them. Sodium, which is also good for digestion. We have the labradorite, we have the black tourmaline, and the sodalite. Hydrogen-based crystals that are good for your digestion are apophyllite as well as chrysocolla. A gem can be based with multiple different elements, so don't get confused if you see them popping up in multiple categories. Manganese, which is good for the brain function, you have crystals that are based with that is magnetite, pyrrolite, as well as rhodochrosite. And rhodochrosite is actually one of my favorite stones as well. It's really amazing healing gem. We have magnesium, which is good for brain function, and the crystals that correlate with that are serpentine, idocrase, lithium, which is good for brain function. You have lepidolite, again, and phosphorus, which is good for the brain function. You have apatite, as well as turquoise. And so for the carbon-based crystals that assist you with emotional wellness, you have argonite, calcite, smoky quartz, rhodochrosite, and smithsonite. Emotional wellness copper-based crystals are azurite, chrysocolla, copper, malachite, turquoise, and emotional wellness sulfur-based crystals are lazurite, pyrites, and sulfur. Now, this is a big issue that a lot of people don't address or talk about as far as health, is the protection from environmental pollution. And that's really key. So I'm going to give you some stones that are based with chlorine and potassium that actually can help protect you from environmental pollution. So environmental protection from pollution, chlorine-based crystals are apatite, halite, and sodalite. Potassium-based crystals that protect you from environmental pollution are apophyllite and lepidolite yet again. So those are really important crystals with different elemental bases that do amazing things for your body. I hope this didn't go over anybody's head, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about the intricacies of how these crystals are literally inside of your body. And this concludes our presentation portion of Crystals Inside Us, how Gemstone Therapy works. I would love to invite you to visit our online spirit shop, which is Gemini Creations with a Z, GEMINEYE Creations with a Z.etsy.com, where you can find many of the crystals and products mentioned in our presentation, as well as spiritual jewelry and services. Please enjoy a 30% off discount on any purchases you make with code ANGEL999. Be sure to like us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Gemini Creations. The call notes will be available for your download at our blog, Gemini Creations, GEMINEYE Creations with an S.wordpress.com. And make sure you tune in for next month. Our next month conference call topic will be Crystals and Herbs, Nature's Pharmacy, and that will be on March 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you all enjoyed this presentation. I'm going to open up the call lines for anybody who has a question, so you guys can now unmute yourself if you have any questions, because I know there might be some questions. That was a lot of information to digest. So if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself and just announce who you are, then ask your question.
Greetings.
Greetings. Peace and blessings.
Well, likewise. My name is Zav DL.
Peace.
A crystal jeweler as well.
Awesome.
I'm curious about a particular set of crystals that would help to enhance the spine, the health of the spine and the nervous system. I have a client, or a family member rather, that had a major accident and is just on disability, and maybe other ways that health can be enhanced. What would you recommend in terms of crystals and methods for healing that function?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I want to tell you that, of course, like I said earlier, we want to use crystal therapy in tandem with other therapies. So you want to maybe consult with an herbalist as well to kind of utilize some type of herbal or alternative healing methods. If they are already, getting all the medical treatment that they can possibly receive, of course, then you can I would honestly talk to an acupuncturist as well, because acupuncture is amazing for sensory issues and things of that nature, and works extremely well with the nervous system, the spine, and that whole area. But with that being said, there are some great stones that can help with those particular areas in the body. Now, the spine crystals that really, really would stick out to me would be like tourmaline, labradorite, beryl, and garnet. Those stones are very hard stones, and they're calcium-based. So they're going to allow for strength and type of, in the context of bones or the skeletal system, as well as they're going to directly impact the spine. What was the other area that you referred to?
I would imagine the muscle as well. He had like a very unhumane bend. He had an injury that caused him to bend back.
Okay.
Surprising, he could walk still, but I would imagine the muscles, the nervous system, and just the structure of the spine itself.
Okay. So those stones will work for the spine. Again, that's the garnet, the tourmaline, the labradorite, and the beryl. As far as muscles, I'd go with the magnetite and the danburite, as well as the copperite. And as far as the nervous system, I'd use some amber, some green jade, some lapis, green tourmaline, or dendritic agate. Don't sleep on the dendritic agate. I love dendritic agate. It's actually a very under-discussed stone, but it helps a lot with the internal healing processes and the cellular processes processes in the body. And if anybody knows anything about healing the cellular processes, healing the body from the cellular level is extremely important in overall wellness. That's how you cure a lot of issues and diseases that seem to be very chronic. A lot of them are starting with cellular issues. So I hope that helps. Did you get those stones?
Yes, yes, I did.
Okay, great. Do you have any other questions?
Um, yes. What would you direct in terms of acquiring like a certified knowledge or use? I mean, a certified knowledge or certification as a crystal healer.
There are many programs out there. Personally, and this surprises a lot of people, I just honestly studied
Hmm.
a
Okay.
lot. Personal studies, do not discount them. There are a couple of crystal certifications out there, but most of them are teaching you a lot of the information that's on hand. You can get through free conference calls like this, that you can get through other webinars, that some of the books I would really, really heavily recommend. I'm glad you brought that up. I have all the information I just gave to you guys, of course, with my own metaphysical years and years of metaphysical studies. But the books that I basically used to create this presentation were the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall, which is a great, 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 great book. It's the foundation of a lot of my my gemstone crystal studies. Sorry, I'm also a herbalist. Rocks of Ages, Annual Edition by Ross Ben is another fantastic book. When I tell you this book is so I'm reading that book is a certification on its own.
Right.
So reading that book is really, really imperative. And then I also use some information from The Subtle Body by Cindy Dale. Now, that book is very comprehensive. It's actually one of the books we use for my herbalist certification as well, but it comprises acupuncture, meridian points, chakras, and from every cultural perspective, it literally is a handbook for energetic healing and medicine. So as a whole, and they have crystals in there as well, and it just teaches you all that information. Because at the end of the day, anybody who's a crystal healer, you're going to need other forms to kind of come in and supplement you and guide you as well. So I would recommend studying more than just the crystals, but I do believe there's a couple of certifications. You could probably use the internet to search them. I've thought about developing a couple, but I kind of got a lot of things on my plate right now.
Mhm.
But again, like I said, those books are really, really key. So if you can get your hand on any of those books and kind of start there as your template and your guide for studying, I think there's even a book called The Crystal Prescription, I believe, and that's another great book as well that can help you with crystals and gemstones. Honestly, I don't think you really need a certification in that particular regard. I think this is something that you can study on your own and get a grasp of. But again, if you need any guidance or anything like that, consult the internet. There's some really amazing crystal healers out there who are putting on workshops. I know Ross Ben, he lives in Philadelphia. He's also the guy who wrote the book Rocks of Ages, and he does crystal workshops. And he'll actually take you on crystal digs and all that great stuff too. So he's amazing in that regard as well. So I'd look him up, rossben.com.
Okay. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your interesting questions, and thank you for inquiring and tuning in. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
Hello?
Peace and blessings. Hi, who is this?
Hi, how are you? My name is Thais. I've been dealing with crystals for a while now. I'm also a jewelry designer as well as the previous person who spoke. And listening to one of your calls, I believe it was last month, the crystals in your home. And listened to a caller who was talking about a necklace that she had, and a stone she ordered, and when she received it broken. That brought to mind something that I've been going through just recently. Recently, I've been getting or having a lot of weird happenings happening around me, such as a lot of electrical energy coming from me. My person, myself, people around me are getting charged through it. If I touch something, you'll see a spark. Um, Also, I had this. It's a letter mail holder and key holder that I've had at my door for a couple of years now, and it has Ganesh on it. And suddenly it just fell off the wall. Nothing triggered it. Wasn't touching it. It just, I was sitting down and it just fell off the wall. So I'm wondering if something is going on around me that I need to be aware of, or something I'm not really picking up on. I mean, I do, I have been saying a lot of mantras and prayers and stuff like that lately. One of them being Ganesh. And I'm just trying to put it all together because, other than that, there's been some other things that's been going on, but I'm feeling that something is happening around me that I need to be aware of.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, ain't nothing wrong with you. If you've been working with crystals and meditating, this is the outcome that you're going to get. This is the point of all of these things. Again, like we were talking about the crystals inside of us, what you've done is you've activated a lot of the dormant or otherwise unactivated elements inside of yourself, as well as energies inside of your subtle bodies. So if you've been meditating, you're going to feel vibrations in different parts of your body. You're going to feel your organs start to awaken, especially if you've been doing mantras, which is exactly what those things are designed to do. They're designed to hit your chakra points and open them right on up. So if you've been doing the mantras, your energy is building. What I've learned is mantras really, really are amazing for building the energy. Now that you've built all this energy, you might want to learn how to direct it. So I don't know if you have any practices like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, or any of those particular practices to kind of help you to guide the energy, because what you've done is you've cultivated and amassed a great amount of energy. That's why you're shocking things. You feel that electrical charge. Now what you want to learn how to do is control that energy, because you have a high voltage amount of energy running through your nervous system right now. This can cause you to show it out. So if you're not careful about how you ground this energy. So what I would definitely recommend for you to do is some grounding meditation and some grounding practices as well, and to make sure that all the blockages are cleared. Make sure you keep smudging consistently. Make sure you have things, make sure you're balancing your active meditations, which is like your mantra work, your sound therapy, and all those different things. Make sure you're balancing that out with calming or subtle or more yin practices like the yoga, like the Tai Chi, as well as mindfulness meditation, which is designed to literally balance those energies inside yourself. So I definitely recommend just getting, a little bit more grounded, add in some more balancing, more peaceful aspects of work in there. Not that mantras are peaceful, or that you're not experiencing some level of ascension, or that that's wrong. But again, like I said, everything's balanced, right? So we want to make sure that that's all balanced out, and that your energy is not too strong to where you don't know how to control it. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched X-Men or any of like the different superhero movies, and at first they don't know how to control any of their powers. It's like that process. So you've awakened all of this dormant energy. Most people only use 10% of their brain. I'm telling you, you're probably operating at 30 to 50% of your brain if you're telling me a lot of this energy is flowing through you. So you're opening up dormant parts of yourself. But with that comes the responsibility of learning how to use it. So I just really would focus on learning how to maneuver that energy and let that energy flow, and being able to control that energy. So again, like I said, grounding is extremely important. Keeping your aura clear is another extremely important aspect. And then you want some yin practices in there as well.
Thank you. You've actually made me feel better and feel like I'm actually on the path that I've been trying to get to.
You are. That's exactly what you are, honey. Don't get scared. That's exactly what you want to happen. Those are the things. I'm telling you, people sit in monasteries for years meditating and chanting just to get those effects. So you're on the right track.
Thank you. And I feel like the other caller before me asked the question regarding getting certified in the crystals and taking programs, and I agree with what you said about not learning on your own, doing a lot more studying on your own. I've actually joined a certification program, and I'm learning so much more doing it on my own. And I actually knew a lot more before I even joined the program.
Exactly.
So, yeah, a lot of the stuff that you said to him was actually pretty true. So, yeah, I think, he should just follow your lead, get those books, because I have a couple of the books that you mentioned myself as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. Sometimes, there are some great certification programs out there, and I'm not knocking anybody who has them because everybody's at different levels. But people who've been working with crystals over a period of years, what you're going to find is that you're going to gravitate more towards the information that you need for yourselves, and that a lot of these classes are based on people who don't know anything about crystals. Not that that's anything wrong with that, because if you don't know anything, that's a great place to start. But if you have some type of background and you're kind of an ambitious person, you're a go-getter, go get you them books and study yourself, and you'll be able to catch on very quickly. If you feel like you need any guidance, then go one step further. But again, I've had a similar experience where I've looked into these programs and I reviewed the curriculum, and I'm like, this is stuff I already know. So I'm not going to pay somebody to do some things I already know. And that's the other thing. If I create a certification program, which I do have in my plans to do, what I want is for it to be deep and impactful scientific information so that you guys will be learning things like what I just taught you in this particular presentation today, so that you can utilize these things to really build yourself as alchemists, as shamans, as healers, as talisman creators, as all of these different things to be able to build on your skills and your talents. So I hope that's helpful to everybody. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you. I really appreciate your answers and you taking the time.
Thank you. No problem. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes, hello, Queen, peace, Queen. I appreciate you. Let me take a speaker. I'm just interested. Like, this is just a personal interest of mine, and I just love the knowledge, and I do use some crystals, and I have made some crystal jewelry for myself, but I just have a question. I know you were speaking about crystal healing, but I want to know, are there crystals? This might be kind of silly, but are there crystals out there that can assist with like fear? Because and
With
the
fear?
reason with fear, yeah. I ask you that because I have stopped meditating. I stopped meditating for a couple months because of fear. Because the deeper I get into it, the more things things just happen. Like I see things, like I'll see like blue light. I'm in a dark bathroom with no windows, and I'll see like a blue light like slide across the wall like a car. Like what you would see if a car was outside of your window and the lights are out in the house and the car just turns the corner. So you see their headlights trail across the wall. Like I'll see things like that. I'll hear things like so because of that, it's just a lot. It's a lot. But and because of that, it's caused me to. I just want to get rid of this fear of, and I want to get back into my meditating, and I I'm happy that these things have happened, but they just really scare me. So I still do altar work, but I don't really meditate at my altar anymore because it's like me wanting to hear, me wanting to actually connect with my ancestors. It's like it's happened, and I know it's happened, but it's just scared, so it's really scared me.
Mhm. It's
So
okay.
yeah.
No, it's okay, and it's actually perfectly natural that you have that amount of fear because unfortunately we've been programmed and socialized to be scared of all the amazing things that we can do.
Right.
So that's
Right.
part of the problem there. So I'm going to answer your question in parts because I think there were parts to it. The first thing I want to address is the root and the core issue. Why you're experiencing this level of fear is because your first chakra is blocked. When the first chakra is blocked, what you're going to experience is not feeling insecure, feeling fearful, feeling scared, feeling frightened, all these different things. And this is coming from an inner issue with your chakra system. And this is also coming from the years and years and years and years and years and years of programming of what's spiritually correct or what's not, what's evil, what's not evil, what's good, all these different things, okay? So in order to remove that programming, you're going to have to work on that lower chakra. One of the great stones for that chakra is red carnelian. Red carnelian removes fear like nobody's business. Okay? It's extremely it's a stone of courage and bravery. It's an immensely beautiful and perky and high energetic stone. Also bloodstone, another courageous stone, a good stone for that area. Red jasper, another great stone for that area, and allowing you to gently transition into your gifts. Again, like the other sister was experiencing high impact energy, you are experiencing that high impact energy yourself. Particularly, she probably has some dormant or latent healing abilities as far as healing touch, contact, kinetic energy. She probably has a lot of fiery energy in her. You have a lot of water because you're seeing things. Also, some fire energy is there as well. Some water energy because I feel water because hearing as well as air. I also feel water because intuitive levels of work, you wanting to connect with your ancestors and things like that. So I feel a lot of different energies going on inside of what you were saying, and these energies just need to be balanced. And unlocking that root chakra will help you with that fear and releasing that fear level with them. So again, bloodstone, red jasper, and carnelian are some great gemstones for you to work with. Now, honey, I don't want to, rain on your parade, but you're going to have to meditate to get through these.
I
So you
know. I
can't be
know.
scared. It's okay. It's okay. The crystals will help you. So meditate with your crystals there because these are helping you.
Mhm.
The blue light that you saw, that's an orb. It was probably an ancestor or a higher vibrational spirit. Okay? Normally, lower entities appear as shadows or
I
some type
know.
of.
I've seen them
So
too.
you're seeing. Okay. So you seeing
Sorry.
that light energy is actually not a bad thing. It's
Mhm.
a higher frequency energy. So that's not something to be scared of either. What I want to tell you is if it's at any time overwhelming for you, you can let them know because one thing we don't understand is they can hear us. We can't hear them, but they can hear us. So you can
Mhm.
let them know, look, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm going to need a couple minutes. You know what I mean? I'm going to need to work on me. This is not a good time for me because when I first started to cultivate, I'm actually clairaudient, so I can hear things too. And I can actually speak directly and hear into the spirit realm.
Mhm.
One of the issues that came up for me is it was like the movie Ghost. I'd be in the middle of the night and everybody want to talk to me. I'm like, look, I got stuff to
Wow.
do tomorrow.
Yeah, my
I
brother
have
is
a
like
life
that.
to live. I need to sleep. You guys cannot talk to me right now. So what I started to do was talk to, because a lot of these energies were actually supportive and helpful energies. So they didn't want to bombard me. They're just excited because what you have to understand is there's not a lot of people like you out there. So when somebody can communicate, when somebody can open up these gifts, when somebody can become more open like you are being to these particular situations, they get very excited. They're like, ooh, and then you're doing work with your ancestors. Your ancestors are excited to talk to you. There's probably spirit guides around you that really want to give you a lot of powerful information about your life path, your purpose, and all these different things. So they're just excited for you in that way, and so it can come across as overwhelming. So just be open, have an open dialogue with them, let them know, look, right now I'm still not fully comfortable with all of this energy and this information. I'm going to need to take it slow. So if you don't mind, just I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk to you. Okay?
Yeah.
And make
Yeah.
sure that you're smudging,
Okay.
cleaning your altar space with sage, Palo Santo,
Mhm.
rosemary, whatever you use to cleanse your area, Florida water, whatever you're
Mhm.
using to cleanse that area. Keep that area clean and charged with positive energy. Keep your crystals on that altar to keep that power pure and positive and uplifting, so that you're not attracting any negative spirits. And hopefully that will make you feel more safe.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You were so on point with the water thing because I mean I'm a Scorpio, so
Mhm.
I guess there's kind of a relation there.
Oh,
But yes,
definitely.
I really appreciate you. And I actually do talk to them. I
Mhm.
still talk to them, even though I'm scared. I'm just scared to go into deep meditation. I still give offerings. I'll
Mhm.
still go and light an incense, and I still go and do things. Give
Mhm.
offerings and stuff. But thank you so much. I'm
Mhm.
gonna
Well, those crystals should help you.
yeah.
They should.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
No problem. All right. Does anybody else have a question at all before we wrap this up?
Yes, it's Kimberly.
Peace, Kimberly. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. Thank you for asking. I have a also question also.
Okay.
I'm married, and is it okay that me and my spouse shares the same altar?
Yes, that's actually fine. That's perfectly acceptable. That's normal. It's beautiful. But um it depends on their particular vibration. If you're very matched with your spouse and his energy and your energy are very synchronized, if this has been a long relationship and you guys are kind of just right there with each other, in that particular way, it can be a very powerful and beautiful thing. If you find that he may have some fearful energy, maybe you're a little bit more advanced than him and you're bringing him in, and maybe he's not as proficient in spiritual practices as you are, then it could begin to be a little bit of a problem. But I don't really see it being a full-blown problem. You still, I mean, again, altar work is deep, and I think I'm going to have to just do a whole conference call on altar work because that's what keeps coming up in my head anyway, and everybody keeps asking me altar questions, so that makes sense. But with altars, you don't have to have just one. You can have multiple. And you are gonna have you can have personal altars. You can have altars for different spirits. You can have ancestral altars. You can have all different kinds of altars. So is it a problem? I'd probably say not. But you may at some point want to expand and have your own personal space. That may be something that you may want to do in the future, especially if you plan on working on it a lot. But if he doesn't mind and you don't mind and you feel like the energy is flowing beautifully and you guys keep it clear, you guys keep offerings, and you are using it to its fullest optimum abilities, and you are seeing that it's actually a beautiful place and it's a sacred place for you guys, then go ahead. By all means, keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, and I do have one more question. How
Sure.
much how much of the gemstone elixir should you drink, and how often?
It depends on the gemstone elixir and what you're looking for. Now, again, I recommend going onto the blog and looking up the toxic stones as well, because in any toxic stone, you don't want to use the direct method. You're going to want to use an indirect method. And both of those methods are on the blog as well, so I won't get into too much details on how you use it or how you
Oh,
create it. But basically, as long as the stone is being the elixir is being created under the safest circumstances possible, it's going to vary from stone to stone. But basically, about a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of the elixir internally, if it's meant to be used internally, is approximately how much you want to take of the elixir. Now, again, the elixir is with alcohol, so you want to make sure if anybody has any alcohol problems, you know what I mean, or not saying that you do, but if anybody is an alcoholic of any kind, or you don't want to give them gemstone elixirs because they're made out of brandy or vodka. So you'd want to use crystal or gemstone water, and the recipe for that is also on the blog as well. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, well, thank you.
No problem. Okay, does anyone else have any questions before we wrap this presentation up? Okay. No more questions? All right. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, everyone who tuned in. This has been Crystals Inside of Us, how gemstone therapy works, and I hope that you all have had an amazing time with me. I've had an amazing time with you. And again, the notes will be available after this the presentation so that you guys can look at that as well. And I hope that all this information has blessed you. Continue on your path, continue on your journeys, and don't forget that all this information and all this beauty and all this energy is inside of you. Okay? Peace and blessings.